Hi, folks. So, I'm going to talk about getting involved with others in regards to, let's say, healing. If you want to say that. In healing, I mean, just recently I got quite rather burnt, I would say. And I wasn't, we learn in hindsight in life. I mean, I must say, I did a talk on that. And we learn in hindsight, and I spoke about a particular individual in my last video, which I'm not sure I'm going to upload. I'll see how I feel, how it came out. I haven't had a listen to it yet, but just recently I realized that we all have our own inner worlds and our own inner psyche, all right, and our own inner terror and our own inner fear and our own inner neuroses and pathologies and all that stuff, our own conditioning, traumas, whatever it might be. And for myself, I think I went over and beyond my duty and service for a particular two people in my life of late, where I was sort of made myself so available to them in regards to, I would say, holding the weight and bearing the burden of their psychology or pathology or their psyche or their condition of their woundedness. And I think I went over and beyond, and I think maybe I did it subconsciously in a way because I wanted to feel that I was doing something good, that I was feeling that I was needed, and that I felt that I had value, and to feel also to be appreciated and loved. It's hard for me to say that, but it's somewhat the truth. It's a lonely journey, this, folks, and sometimes when I come across a person, whether it be male or female, doesn't matter, more in my proximity, because it's so short in supply, really, and that when someone comes along that might have certain attributes that I feel that they can see me and they can appreciate me and they can reach me, on a heartfelt level, and we can understand each other without so much ego involved, or whatever it is, without judgment, all right, without reservation, without preconceived notions or something like that, just to be almost naked with one another. When I think I can get a little bit of that from somebody, I'm so sometimes in such, I feel of such need of it that I involve myself in their lives, and I take on and I absorb a lot of their woundedness, let's just say, again, which is part of their neuroses. It's part of their terror, their inner fear, their inner trauma, their inner self-hatred, self-loathing, right? Self-demise, self-deception, self-sedation, whatever it might be. And I become absorbed in it, and I get overtaken by it, in hopes, obviously, in what I'm doing. Again, I only realize this subconsciously, in the hopes that I might feel useful, beneficial, and I might get something in return, such as that somebody sees me for who I am, without having to play the persona or something, put on any graces or something like that. And so this happened to me with two people recently, and I'm paying the price. I can feel it, and it's been horrific, I must say, and it's taken the wind out of me, because again, exactly, I'm putting myself in their shoes, in their world, in their dimension, in everything that's going on. And not only that, but what they're doing, I think, on a psychic level, in a sense, when they meet somebody else who's prepared to stand with them in that, they automatically just dump it on you, right? They just feel, okay, I've got somebody here in this panic, in this chaos, in this confusion, in this terror, and there's somebody here, and so they can save me. They can save me. And so, I mean, this all goes on very subconsciously, in a sense. This is what I feel has been happening. These two particular individuals, people that I know in my life. And So it's taken the wind out of me, and it's upset me, I must say, and it's been a bit traumatizing, I must say, because the one person in particular is really in a bad state of affairs, and holds a lot of darkness, and a lot of inner conflict, inner disassociation within themselves, right? Split, mentally probably unstable and not very well balanced, okay? And again, very much on their own, okay? And so for myself, being the Good Samaritan, it's not so much just about being the Good Samaritan, like I said, but being there for that individual, being there for those two people, but one in particular, and taking on all that heaviness, right? Absorbing it while I'm in their company, while I'm holding them, while they sort of, telling me their tales, okay? Embracing one individual in particular. And for myself at that time, feeling such a realness, which was so wonderful, but what I didn't realize was what I was taking on. I didn't realize how maybe this person now has further expectation in me to be their hero, to be their life savior in a way. Whoa. It's heavy, And so that's something I'm going to have to face the music on as well, and having to create boundary, put in a boundary, alright? Which I can do and I must do for my own well-being, of course. But also, again, I will not allow myself to be so open, to be so raw, to be so available, to be so not almost willing to hold the weight, to face the terror that they're in, the fear that they're in, the confusion that they're in, to stand in their shoes. I mean, I know now, consciously, this is my intention. And so what I've realized here, folks, is that as healers in ourselves, and the healing that we do for ourselves, and the healing that we can do for others, right? We must be very wary of who we are involving ourselves with. Because there's two types of people that I have found, right? When it's healthy to take part in the healing, and when it's unhealthy to take part in what is not really healing, okay? And that's the difference, is that these two individuals, and the one in particular, is not necessarily wanting to heal. They're not wanting to face their own fears, their own terror, their own shadow, their own anxiety. They don't want to do it. And they're severely victimized. And they're severely split and disassociated in their thinking, in their mind, in their personality. Right? And again, for themselves, look, it's no judgment. It's no judgment. I can, it's just what it is. But with those individuals that are so much in that state, but not willing almost at the same time to make their own efforts or conscious efforts or face their darkness, let's just say, right? And are feeling very victimized. Those are the people, and helpless, right? Those are the people that you've got to be very careful of. Because it's obvious. It's obvious because all you will be there is to hold the weight, to stand in their shoes, and to give them a bit of a breather room, in whatever it is. And not only that, but you can give them insight. You can give them a bit of love, which is also a lot of the times what they don't want. They don't want love. I've noticed with certain individuals that because they have such self-loathing, right? They so do not like themselves. This one person in particular that I was speaking to, I said that you have so many negative thoughts about yourself, right? And that's not okay. You've got to turn that around and start healing, and start seeing yourself in a better light, and start seeing your virtues, and start seeing your light. Not just be associated with your darkness. And I know that this person only is in the state that they only want to know their darkness. They only want to know their depravity. They only want to know their sickness, right? That's what they're more comfortable. Again, like that saying says, we are more afraid of our light than we are of our dark. of the darkness in us, or something like that. We're more easily able to loathe ourselves and despise ourselves and sabotage ourselves and deceive ourselves than we are to be loving and compassionate and kind and patient and sensitive and devoted and unconditional, right, towards ourselves, accepting of ourselves, embracing of ourselves. It's harder, because we hold this idea that we are such, some of us, not in a religious sense, sometimes religious, that we are such sinners that we cannot be loved, and that love is actually painful. So even in those moments for myself when I'm giving these people advice, not necessarily advice, an ear to listen to, maybe some suggestions, a bit of love, a bit of saying, don't give yourself such a hard time, and they refuse to want to hear that. They just almost want me again just to listen to them in a way and feel sorry for them. Feel sorry for them. That's what they want. Okay? They want to bring me down into their helplessness. Okay? And like I said, the last few days I've been deep with them in their helplessness. And I can feel its impact on me, and it's caused an overwhelmment of somewhat fear in me, terror, I would say, which is not a bad thing. Manageable terror, as my friend Mark says, is actually something, is a good medicine. It really is. It's a good medicine. Like psychedelics, sometimes on a very terrifying trip, you'll find the gems, you'll find the real gold. Okay, sometimes in traumatic situations in life, terrifying, you will find strength that you did not know that you had. Right? You will find meaning that you didn't know it was there. That's the thing about the fire of purification, is that it burns, folks. It incinerates. Okay? It incinerates that which is, it almost needs to be burnt away a lot of the time. It needs to be incinerated, that which it needs to decay, it needs to be burnt off. Right? So that's sometimes what terror is about. So for myself, what's the terror of this person? What am I learning from this person? From engaging in, the psyche, in the energy, in the psychosis of the person. What am I gaining? I'm learning a lot. I'm learning, and that's maybe for another talk, if it so happens to come about. So, for myself, when I work with people, the people that are wanting to connect with their light, there's growth that happens. There's abundance of love for each other, for this journey that we're on, for the crosses that we bear, for the support that we give, for the recognition of each other's strengths. Okay? And we don't depend on one another to pull us through completely. Right? We don't depend on and say, you will heal me. Like that's what I think sometimes you think about the medicine plants. You must heal me. So no. You come with that attitude, you'll learn very quickly. You'll pay the price. But in a way, again, it's not necessarily a bad thing. But so the ones that they wish to heal, the ones that wish to connect to the divinity, to the love, to the source, to the light, that is, for myself, what I've experienced as being where I want to put my energy, where I feel is a safe place, where I feel also sometimes responsible where I can to assist and to help and be there. Because I really feel that when conscious, sensitive, light working folks, I can't stand the term light working, but healers, connecting, expansion, transformation, that when we, I'm losing my train of thought, but when we, what is my point? I'm sure you folks probably already thought out what I was hinting at and trying to say, and I can't go back now to try and see where my point was in this recording. yes, I think what we do is that we benefit from one another's healing. We grow. I think that's what I was saying. I don't know. Can't remember. But whatever, it doesn't matter. When we're working together, right, and we're not dependent on each other pulling us through, and we're doing our own work together, we're dancing together, all right. Sometimes we're leaning on each other, a little bit more than other times, and vice versa, But ultimately, we both benefit. It's a symbiotic relationship. It's about being there for somebody else who is growing. You're going to benefit tenfold in so many ways. It's going to teach you in so many ways, right? It's going to expand you in so many ways. It's going to grow you in so many ways. You're going to learn so much. And so it's a direct payoff, okay? So we feed off one another in a symbiotic way. You see, and in a beautiful way. I mean, and the healing, and this is true healing. So to get involved with people, you've got to be careful and say, are they carrying a victimized consciousness? And that's fine if they are to a certain degree. But do they render themselves helpless? God helps those who help themselves. Are they helping themselves in some way or another? Or are they just asking you to join them, in the pain, in the suffering, in the meaninglessness? You've got to be careful. I mean, if that's what they're doing, if that's what they are about, And it's very hard. It's very hard to stand idle when you see somebody who is feeling so helpless and victimized and so uncertain. It's so difficult to do. I mean, it almost seems like you are heartless. It seems like you uncaring, unkind, insensitive, right? And also that pain, it's hard, folks. It's hard when we, living on this planet, when we see injustices happen to others or to animals, for us to get involved in that, for us to bear witness to it is very hard, and not to get involved, I'm saying, like it's hard to see the brutality that happens on to the planet, to the plants, to nature. It's hard to bear. It's hard to see our fellow brothers and sisters on planet Earth, being indoctrinating into culture and being possessed almost by its illness. It's hard to see it. It's hard to see your loved ones intoxicating themselves. It's hard to see them disconnected from their source, from the source, also from their source. It's hard to see them wayward. It's hard to see them juvenile, especially when they're in their later years in life. It's hard to see how petty they can be, right? It's hard to be how little self-belief that they have, how nihilistic they can be, how stubborn they can be, right? It's so hard to bear. But bear it you must, endure it you must, And that's what I'm saying. Some of us feel that if we come to the rescue of others, then they will love us. Whether it be our partner, a husband or wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, a family member. If you have blood is thicker than water, blood, it's your blood, you've got to help out. And so you want to, because maybe also, you're looking for love. You're looking for the people in your life to be recognized. And you say, well, let me do this for you. Let me help you. Let me be there for you. Almost, let me be the crutch that you possibly need. Right? Let me help sedate your pain, in a sense, by distracting you, or by, lying to you that you're, sometimes we do. Sometimes we just don't want to tell people that we see that in what chaos that they're really in, and so we play it lightly with them. In a sense, I don't know if that makes sense. I mean, if I'm explaining that well. But so that's it, folks. It's hard to be a bystander and observe, but you realize at the same time It's their destiny. It's, it's also part of their story, part of what their experience is. There are higher forces at play here. Can't be responsible for the world, right? You can't be responsible for those who don't want to be responsible. You can't do it. You can't, you can't beat yourself up over it, right? You can't, because you matter most, right? And so this is being a bit selfish or self-centered, but it's not. It's being self-preserving, right? And not self-sacrificing in a very unhealthy, negative way. Because that's what we do, folks. It's terrible how we sacrifice ourselves for one another. I'm saying in general. But in a way just so that we can be loved by one another, or recognized or seen by one another. But anyways, I'm backtracking. So that's my point here, folks. If you can, just know the difference between somebody who, you can see the growth if you've known them for some time, and your conversations and your love and your guidance or assistance or your friendship or whatever it is. You can see that they are growing. If you see that they are evolving, and at the same time that you've got to weigh it up. You've got to see it for yourself. You've got to discern it for yourself. You've got to diagnose it for yourself, and you've got to have a look and see. You've got to use your own intuition, your own intellect, your own awareness, your own consciousness. You've got to look and you've got to see and find out. And sometimes if you're finding that, it's a no-go zone. When you find that it's a no-go zone, that that you're walking in landmines here, potential landmines. When you know it, then you got to retract to the persona, to the personality, your personality, to your persona, and you got to put up the boundaries, psychically, consciously. You got to put them up. And this is also part of healing, because so many of us are psychically, I've heard this expression before, like an umbilical cord, connected to people already, especially sometimes our parents, right? And family members, because we were dependent, we've been connected to them, obviously, this is obvious, especially to parents. And we feel connected to them on a psychic level, like that umbilical cord, and we don't want to cut it. And so we've already, without us even knowing, when we start becoming conscious of it, we feel like, oh my word, so I'm supposed to be there for my mother, for my father, unconditionally, even though that they're abusive, even though they're uncaring or unsupportive of me, even though they don't have my back, right? See, folks, this is, yes, you can love everybody. There's a lot of sayings, love everybody, but some people you love from a distance and you love from afar, with a hell of a lot of boundaries and ammunition, ready to go type of thing. Okay? And so, what am I saying here? Yeah, so be careful of those family roles. Be careful. Watch out. Watch out for them, because there's expectations in those relationships already. Alright? And there's, especially in family members, they want you to pity them, in a big way, and feel sorry for them. And then they almost like, well, because you're my blood, you're supposed to take care of me no matter what. Now, you might be in a marriage because, you got married at a young age and you weren't very conscious and aware. And that, and you said through sickness and through health and, through death do us part, and you've made that exchange with the person, that verbal exchange, that energetic exchange with that person. And that person is not growing, and so you can't be responsible, You can't be connected to them in that way. And feel that you still need to be loyal when in fact they're just abusive, and maybe they're helpless, and they're like, well, you're my husband, you're my wife, so I expect you to be there for me. You promised me. So, but, you say to them, well, you're not prepared to work yourself, you're not prepared to do anything, you just want me to feel sorry for you, you want me to lick your wounds, you want me to say what a wonderful person you are, what a good husband or good wife you are, but really when you're just a deadbeat drunk, type of thing, an alcoholic, and spends all their money, all the money that we need for our, living on whatever it is, And that's what we request of each other, which is a whole other talk in the same time, to put on the personality that we do not see each other's shadow. We do not see each other's dark side. This is really for another talk, but that we do not see each other's dark side. That's we do a unconscious type of deal with one another, where I'm going to be dark, and you might see it, but you're not allowed to see it. Right? I might be juvenile, I might be narcissistic, I might be whatever it is, but I don't want you to reflect that to me, okay? I don't want you to reflect that back to me. I don't want you to see it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to smell it. You just pretend. And if I'm abusive to you, if I'm uncaring, whatever I do, whatever ills and however irresponsible I am, I don't want to hear it, okay? This is the games we play with one another. It really is. Alright folks, I think I'll end off on that for now. And thank you for taking the time. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for being on this journey of healing with me. Yeah, it means a lot. Because if it wasn't for you folk out there right now, got no one to talk to, no one around. So thank you for hearing me and for being there. Much love. Take care.